see, I think Mike was going to moderate the panel, and while we're formulating that, why don't we take questions and comments from the floor? Yes. Would you say your name, please?
I'm Rose Spitzer.
And would you like to maybe,
I can talk loud.
okay, just talk loud and maybe
Yeah.
turn it on to the audience.
My concern is why we aren't first dredging the lake and approximately how much would it cost to do so?
Well, I'm not the expert. Duncan McGinnis is here. He's the head of the Lake Committee. Joy Barton is on the panel.
We, 3 years ago, can you hear me?
What do you want to use?
Sure.
Excuse me. Duncan McInnes. Approximately 3 years ago, when I became chair of the Lake Committee, excuse me, we had a fellow, Randy Steed, come from Oregon, who was in charge of a dredging company, and he looked at Little Beach, and we didn't say dredge the whole lake, but rather just significant areas of the lake, such as the Marina, Little Beach, and North Cove, and over by Big Beach. And because we couldn't in any way ensure that we would even accept his bid, we didn't have any money. All we wanted to do was get some kind of assessment from him. He came up and said, in a very cursory way, he only spent one afternoon here, that to begin Little Beach, and it is becoming very shallow, silting in, would be approximately $350,000. I was amazed when I did get his estimate, and Joy, I know, I think you saw this too, that so much money was getting the equipment and moving the equipment on and off the lake. Maybe some of you in the business or a comparable business might appreciate that, but it really was a surprise to me. So I would think that if we did Little Beach 350, and then if we moved over and did the Marina would be a little bigger job. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there, maybe throwing out 500,000. And so I would think if we put a package together for $1.5 million, eventually we'd get the lake done. But we in the Lake Committee are hoping that we are going to put together a proposal for this new board, which will ask to start dredging, whether it be 2015 or 16, whatever, but we will set a timeline, and we will say we want to dredge, let's say 2017, and then 2022, etc., so that there is a timeline, and we feel that's going to literally save our lake. We have asked in this budget session, 2014, and we asked for it last year and didn't get it, that there be a $250,000 sum of money put in a reserve fund. And if we get that this year, 2014, if we get it in 2015, there's our first dredging. And then each year after that. Lana.
Duncan, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the board was discussing the lake and dredging the lake. And back at that time, there was a proposal about dredging the lake, but simply moving the sediment from one area to another. So are you still proposing that?
No,
Okay, so this.
I'm not personally. That may end up what we would do because it's less money. But I don't like the idea of taking the muck and moving it from one part of the lake to the other. And there is a process, and they have huge bladders, and they put the siltation into the bladders, let it dry, and then submerge it in the lake. I thought it was a good idea, simply because of cost. But as the downside of that, and this isn't the place to get into that, but there's a lot of downside. There's an upside, it's cheaper, but there's a downside to that as well. So I would much prefer that we take, and again, this is my opinion, I'm not speaking for the Lake Committee here, I haven't been ordained to do that. This is my private opinion. Later the Lake Committee might vote for this and I would be sanctioned, but I'm only talking as a private citizen and a boat owner who has my boat at the marina, and we were out the other day and had to stop and pull the motor up and jump in and get all the weeds off the problem. So, you know, there's stuff that's going on with our lake.
I have a question. How is it physically going to look different once you break the beaches? You bring that feature?
Well, what it was explained to me, and again, you're asking someone, and this isn't my business at all, that the dredging company will dredge so that there is a gradation, just like any seashore or whatever, so that we don't just drop off, but rather there will be a gradation. We, as the Lake Committee, are going to Lake Wildwood on November 4th. And we are going to visit Lake Wildwood, and they are dredging, and they dredge every 2 years. And they are dredging, and they've started dredging their lake October 28th, and they will bring it down 15 feet, and then they will dredge. So, but that's what I understand, is Randy Steed told me that there will be a gradation. It won't be just digging something else. Our little kids in Little Beach, you know, drop 6 feet into the water. That won't happen. And you know, that's...
My second comment is that would you consider sharing that budget with people who own the most of the beaches rather than the public who just uses the small beach and big beach? Why they should pay for the private owner who would live on the beaches? Increase their assessment fee?
No. No, I wouldn't see any fee for that. I would think that that's where a community, and that the dredging should take place out of general funds, it would seem to me. That's my personal opinion. That's only my opinion. Yes.
I do support dredging the lake, however, I think we need to look at the causes of why there's silt buildup.
We know.
Have you been thinking about proposing budget monies to address the stormwater runoff?
Yeah, we have done that 3 years in a row. Last year, we worked at two runoffs. This year, we have $25,000 again in the budget. I've worked with Chuck Foster, and on the budget workshop, we did get the $25,000, and we will work at the stream starting up at, oh gosh, the name of that park, yikes, Ravenhill. And we're working that one down, and Chuck has a proposal how we can, we're never going to stop the sediment. We can't. This is a natural phenomenon, but we will slow it down, we hope. And you're right. In our major, there was a study done by Geosyntec, and the major reason for 75%, their estimate, they were a professional company that the board hired, $47,000 worth, and they said that this company said that the major reason for sediment is coming from Coyote Creek, 75%. Now, that's the watershed. And we have spent 2 years as a lake committee, and I know Joy was chair for 3 years before I was. And I know that Joy, because I was on the committee, looked at this phenomenon as well. We can slow down the sediment, ladies and gentlemen, coming into Coyote Creek. We can't stop it. There just isn't any way. It's a natural phenomenon. And just to give you some idea, where's Steve? I don't want to take it all the time here.
I think there's a lot of interest in this topic.
Yeah. One of the things that, and I can use their name, I know I can because they give me permission, Bill and Zoila McGraw, who are on the Lake Committee. They've been here for 27 years. We were out in the lake yesterday. 27 years ago, their boys used to get on the rocks just as you see the entrance to Coyote Creek. You know where we have the fish habitat, where we have the fishing pier for our kids. Right there, right across, are huge rocks, and they go up onto the cliff. Those boys used to get on those rocks and dive into 20 feet of water. There's less than a foot there now. That's 27 years. And so, you know, in 44 years, I have gone through the records. And I know Joy has, Jim Kammerher before her, and Jim Cervantes is chair before that. We've all gone through the records. There has been no maintenance on this lake in 44 years.
And there's no reserve fund to do it now.
No, there's no reserve fund.
That's pathetic.
And that's what we're asking for, 250,000 and 250,000 next year. If we got that, we could do it. We could start our first, and we're not gonna do the whole lake at the same time. We don't have the money. But if we started and doing piecemeal, if I had my brothers, because of Little Beach gets such tremendous family business, and every weekend, see those little kids down there and families, it's a wonderful thing to see. It would be my suggestion, and again, I'm not talking for anybody other than myself, that if we're going to do the dredging in stages, that we start with Little Beach, and that would really give our families and kids a place to get. If you go to Little Beach, right off where the come on, help me, the ropes are, you go off to the left-hand side, and if you have a child, I wouldn't put a child there. They'll sink in that mud. We lost kayaks there the other day. We're up to our friggin' knees and then our thighs in mud, and that's not safe. It's not safe. Yes.
So when was the lake last dredged?
It was never dredged.
It was
Never dredged. 44 years, 1968. This lake was Boise Cascade in the dam, 1968. And we are, here's the good news, and Steve kicked me out of here. There's the good news. We have applied in the budget, and it looks like it will go through. Board members seem to be in favor. I know Mike was very vociferous in his support of an intern who's coming from the University of California, Davis. We've met him, and he is working with 7 other young people. And this is a wonderful opportunity for us as a community, and I would hope you would spread this news. These young people will come from Davis, and they will do particular projects. And if we can begin a relationship with a renowned institution such as the University of California, Davis, in their water resources program, and association with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jeff Schroederl, and he is considered one of the world's leading authorities, not just in the United States, world's leading authorities on freshwater lakes and reservoirs. And I've spoken to him, 3 times? 3 times. He's really given me, he's a very busy man, world-renowned expert. He's given me time, and he has encouraged his students to come to Hidden Valley Lake. We've had 1 visit. I spoke to the intern young man this morning, coincidentally, and we'll be back in touch on Tuesday when his group gets together. And we have $5,000. That's all we asked for. And the board, I hope, Mike, where's Mike? I hope, yeah, Mike's back there. We're going to get $5,000 if Mike has anything to do with it. And if we get an association with an institution like that, we'll have studies. We can say, don't study Little Beach, and tell us, what we can do.
Thank you, John. I just want to point out, it's very important to show up at the board meeting on October 10th to make sure that the board actually sees through on what they promised in the budget workshop for the lake.
Okay, we're fixing to take a break, and then we're gonna have more questions.
Actually, so I just want to ask a question about the signs.
Yes.
Some of you might have noticed, as I noticed, that there's a 3-person sign
Yes.
all over the place.
Right.
And do you guys need money to put together a 2-person sign? Is that a possibility? Is that something?
Why don't we
you
talk
guys
about that
thought
after the break?
She has to leave, but I think probably not. Steve and I have discussed it, and he's got cards and a bunch of other things he's doing. I'm gonna do the signs. So hopefully that'll work for us. We decided not to go together on the
Okay.
signs. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're fixing to take a break, so just bear with me just a second, and then we'll come back for some more discussion. This is a great discussion. I just want to say relative to this lake dredging issue, and they're asking for money to dredge the lake. We're talking big bucks again. We're talking a big ticket item. You can bet your bippy that before it's all said and done, that they're gonna wanna come back and raise the assessments to pay for all of this. It's going to happen, count on it, unless we stop hemorrhaging money from some other things that need to be done. For instance, can we afford to build a multi-million-dollar edifice so that some people get a chance to eat and drink on our dime?
Now,
Okay? So just think about that. When you're going, there's ways to pay for these things. And one of them is going to be raising assessments, and the other one is going to be cutting some costs. So just think about that and have a nice break, and we'll pick back up.
So we'll take about a 10-minute break. We're gonna have